Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? It is currently 3:44 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. It is really nice outside. It's 60 degrees, so it's a little chilly, but the sky is beautiful. Blue skies, dotting of some clouds. I should be a meteorologist, shouldn't I? Do a little weather report every day. But it's nice outside, and I'd actually meant to go start my vlog like an hour ago, but I went outside and my neighbors across the street were out there, so I was talking to them, and then I went and got a coffee at Starbucks, so now I'm ready to vlog. And then afterwards, I think I'm gonna go to the flower market that is by our house. Well, it's not super close to our house, but it's close, on the way home. And I'm gonna buy some plants and maybe do a Peter Does Stuff video over there. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling after getting done vlogging. And then I was just talking to Melissa on the phone. We went out to dinner with Melissa and Jason last night. We went to District Tap. It was so good. Oh my God, I was so hungry when we went. And I got a wedge salad with no bacon. It was delicious. And I got a Dr. Pepper and a water. And then Melissa and Jason and I split fried pickles. I love fried pickles. And they had, they came with ranch dressing and then like this chipotle dressing on the side, chipotle mustard or something. Aioli, I think is what it was. And there's like a bunch of stuff on the screen up here. Hold on a second. And then I got this Mediterranean wrap sandwich that was like a tortilla wrapped with like hummus and like bell peppers and red peppers, and it was really, really good. And I think I ate half of it, and I was like so full at that point that I brought the other half home. But I think, do you ever do this? Like, I put half of it in the container and then I left it on the table and we walked away. Stupid. And then Alex and Melissa had chicken fingers with fries. Oh, my sandwich also came with, you could pick any side, and I got sweet potato fries, and they were like one of those crunchy, not crunchy fries, what's the word I'm looking for? Crinkle fries. Oh, they were so good. I love sweet potato fries. I didn't at first when they first came out, but now I love them. Sweet potato fries and ranch dressing is like the best ever. And then I was just like looking at the camera. Something I noticed when I was like watching my video back the other day was that when I watched it back, it was like the video was completely fine, but then when I was like, it had already been uploaded, it looked like it was out of focus, and I'm not really sure why that was, which was strange. But anyway. And then Jason had a wedge salad with bacon, and then he got a big pretzel, and that's all he had. I think that's all he had. It was good, it was fun. And so we hung out with them. Their niece is coming to visit for like a week, so they're excited about that. And then we came home. And we got home about 10 or 10:30, and I was actually going to go and vlog right then. And Alex went upstairs, and so I got into bed with him, and then we just kind of like hung out there, and he was playing his game, and I was like flipping through all of these different shows. Like I watched like 5 minutes of the Muppet movie on the Disney Channel because I love the Muppet movie. And then I was watching part of the Halloween episode of My So-Called Life, because I have that, you know, both seasons downloaded. And then I was watching Sorry Wrong Number, because I downloaded that, and talking to the dogs. And then I went and got Alex and I from the kitchen those cocosettas that were sent to us, and ate those and had some water. And we just kind of hung out in bed for like an hour and just like talked, and I was like showing him these different shows and stuff, and it was fun. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed, and if I wake up, I'll vlog, and if I don't, then I'll vlog in the morning. Because we had to get up this morning to meet the guy that is gonna do, possibly is gonna do our landscaping, but he came out there, and I asked my neighbor, this is how I started talking to her, because she was out there and she's a master gardener. And all we really want is like 2 to 3 bushes on either side, and maybe like 2 to 3 bushes in the back, like cheap bushes, and then like just it cleaned up, and mulch put down on either side, And he quoted us, and he's like, I think like just like a one guy, kind of does his own thing. He quoted us $1,000, and I was like, I think that's really expensive. So Alex is calling to see if we can get an estimate from somebody else. And then I think this must have been after I vlogged. Well, I vlogged the night the other day. So yesterday I talked to the patio people. She was so nice. Did I say this on here already? The earliest they can come in to power wash and seal our patio is the end of July. But I had her put us on the list anyway. And then the neighbor across the street, she had a power washer, and she was like, you have to like really put it, like she said, it's not like a heavy duty power washer. She was showing it to me, but she was like, I'll show you how to use it if you want to use it. It's an electric power washer. And she said, but you know, you can, it's good enough that it'll clean off your patio. So I think I'll do that and then wait until July and then have them come out there and professionally do our patio at the end of July and just wait. They were so nice, the people that I talked to. She's like, we're just so behind. She was like, this year, because we've got so many patios that we have to do. And she's like, but if somebody, you know, she's like, if somebody cancels, she was like, I'll call you and we can come out there and do it. I was like, that would be great. So all the business stuff is taken care of. And then Melissa today was selling for doing like a fundraiser for one of the dog rescues that she works for. And they were selling potted plants. So Alex went where she was and he bought 3 plants for his mom tomorrow. Because she had said that like instead of a gift or flowers or anything she wanted for Mother's Day, she wanted like plants for like hanging plants for her patio. So Alex got 3 these hanging plants. They're beautiful. They're really, really pretty. And then tomorrow we are going to Mother's Day with his mom. And that'll be fun. So, and his grandma's gonna be there too. And I don't know who else. So I'm excited about that. And, yeah. That's my life. It was fun kind of just like hanging out in bed last night and just like talking and stuff like that, because we did it for like, just hung out for like an hour, and I kept on asking him about his game, and he was telling me about his game. And, oh my God, so somebody yesterday, I guess it wasn't yesterday in the vlog, it was a couple days ago, but I was asking about the comforter that we had on our bed in Florida, and it's actually Target's brand. I can't remember what it's called now, I screenshot it, but it's Target's brand. And I looked, and a king size comforter is $89. So I think I'm gonna get it, the white one, and just have it as like an extra blanket on our bed for like our summer bed and stuff, you know? So I'm excited about that. Actually, I think, I was like, maybe I'll just go to Target right now and see if they have it, but I was gonna order it. I think it's free shipping, so I think it would be easier just to order it. I'm not gonna put the bedding on yet. It's still not supposed to be up until up in the 70s until next week. So anyway, Alex didn't have to do any work stuff today, so we, like when he came back from the plant place and we got done with the landscaper this morning, we've just been kind of hanging out, not doing really a whole lot. It's been kind of nice. We had our little meeting with our neighbors yesterday too, which was fun. Talked about our patios. I was thinking about some of the comments. Okay, so first of all, I guess I keep on calling. Oh, by the way, my allergies were so bad this morning when I woke up. I was like sneezing. So I made sure I took my allergy medicine right before I left. That was like an hour ago when I walked out the door. An hour or so ago. But I guess I kept on calling the boba. Bobo. I guess I kept on calling it. It's just the bubble drinks. Do you know what I'm talking about? The bubble drinks is what I'm wanting. And the restaurant that I did, because a couple people were like, oh, I went and watched the video where you reviewed it, because I had done a video where I had reviewed it on my review channel. I think it was on my review channel. That restaurant has closed down. It has been closed down for like a year now. So I don't know where to go. But yeah, that used to be by my office in Broad Ripple, and it's closed. It's been closed for a long time. They closed and didn't reopen anywhere. They closed long before we went on lockdown. So it must have been like a year and a half, 2 years ago that they closed. I don't know. It wasn't long after I did the review that they closed down. And there's just a sign in the window. I thought I actually even put it in a vlog. There's just a sign on the window that says, I think the sign is still there, that says, you know, thank you for all of these years and we appreciate it, and yada yada, whatever. So I don't think they moved anywhere. That little taco shop, it was really good. That's the first thing. The second thing was, I asked everybody if they had seen the movie, or if they were watching the show The Circle, and so many people commented on it, and I was like, it's not The Circle, that's not what I'm talking about. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, it's a new show, and I couldn't remember the name of it, but I had written it down in my phone, because I, like, in my notes, I kept this note, like, shows to watch. It's Cruel Summer. Is anybody watching Cruel Summer? And should I watch it? I've heard it's good. I've heard it's really good. So, I'm gonna finish them, and then I might watch Cruel Summer if it's good. So, scratch The Circle. I have no desire to see The Circle, but a lot of people did say The Circle was really good. But The Circle's older, isn't it? I'm so silly. I got it wrong. But anyway, Cruel Summer. That's the show. And I'm watching Pose right now. Pose is on tomorrow night, the 3rd episode. I don't know why they did the first 2 episodes on the first night, but I'm not mad about it. So Pose is on tomorrow night. And I think that's it. That's all I'm watching. And then, what else was the other thing somebody commented on and said that I wanted to say something about? Oh, I wanted to remember the name. I think it's Amber. I was talking about I had the air conditioning on, but the air conditioning only goes down to like 60 or 65, and it's 59 outside, so it's like, I could just have the windows open, but I know it's really loud when I do that. And it's kind of like a little, it's like between like cold and warm in here, you know what I mean? I was talking about how, like, during the time that my mom was sick, that I was surrounded by, like, a lot of people, like a lot of friends of hers and things. I mean, our family is small, so my aunt was there all the time, but now my aunt is gone, you know? And, I was surrounded by a lot of my mom's friends and people that she knew, and that, I would say especially towards the very end, when, like, especially after she had passed, you know, during, like, getting the funeral ready, and then the funeral and the viewing and everything. And I think, like, as a society, we're built to be, like, super involved in those moments, you know? Like, I'm very... this is going to sound crazy, but I feel very blessed that I was sober through that whole process, because it is a process that you go through when somebody passes. Like, it was the same when my aunt and uncle passed, right? Not so much with my uncle, because that was more like, my cousin didn't, like, have a lot of people over to the house at that time and stuff, but with my aunt, you know, like, we went over there and helped her clean up, and her friends were over there, and her cousin came in, her other cousin, she has 2 other cousins on her dad's side, and one of them I'm really close with, came into town. And what is going on here? People are all parked on the street and stuff up here by Richie Woods. What is going on? Oh, the new Humane Society opened. I wonder if that's what it is. Let's see if the lot can't be that full. Oh my god, it is. Oh, they're having like an open house in here. Look at that. They have food trucks and everything. Look at that. Look at this, you guys. And this is the new Humane Society, and Hamilton County, they have a band, and they have little, oh, that's cute, okay. So anyway, but I think that, like, the planning of the funeral, the planning of the viewing, you know, putting something together for afterwards, like people coming over and having food and all that kind of stuff. My aunt wanted a party, like a celebration party. So, I mean, she had like, she wanted like an open bar, and she wanted like food service and all that kind of stuff. And so Caroline did all that because that's what she wanted. And I think my aunt had planned a lot of that because she knew at the end. I mean, my aunt was like, she did parties. I mean, she had dinner parties all the time, and, you know, she was president of Junior League, and so she did all kinds of parties throughout her whole life. She loved that, and so she wanted to have that as she, you know, when she passed. That was important to her. And it was really nice. And when my mom passed, that was at my aunt's house. It was just like a lot of people had brought over food and casseroles and stuff. And I think it's interesting, you know, it's like, that whole time during that, I think people are very involved and invested. And I think that, like, when people pass, and especially during the viewing, I don't really know how what I'm trying to say, how I'm trying to say it. I guess all I mean is like the immediacy of it, or like the high event of it is like the same thing with weddings. It's like everybody's involved, everybody's around, right? But then when it's over, it's like over. And, you know, to the person that's going through it, you really think like, well, this is how it's going to be for a while, you know? And literally within 2 days, the phone stops ringing. Whereas before, it's like your phone is constant. You're getting texts, you're getting phone calls. You know, like, do you need anything? Are you okay? Like, can I bring you any food? Do you need this? Do you need that? And you don't really need that stuff anymore because your life goes back to normal, right? Okay. But even the people that are like, and I've even been like this before, you know, because I feel like it's intrusive sometimes, which I've really in the last, and really tried to in the last couple years been better about this, like suiting up and showing up and just doing, like not asking somebody, like, what do you need from me, but just doing it, you know, like Tanya's so good at that. And my aunt and my mom were like excellent at that, just like making food and taking it over, not asking, do you need food, just taking it over, you know? And I think that that's a little bit more how the world used to work, and it just doesn't work like that as much anymore. I don't think many people do that. And so, you know, after somebody passes, it's like people stop calling, people stop stopping by, they stop asking if you're okay. And there's like this really lonely period that happens afterwards, you know, and for me it was really tough because I was just by myself, and, you know, I had gone through a breakup 6 months before, I had resigned from my position, so it was like, I didn't have tons going on, and it was really hard, to the point where I don't even know that I acknowledged how tough it was, you know? So anyway, Amber left, I think it was Amber, left a comment on my vlog from yesterday and said that when her grandmother was moved into like a nursing home or assisted living place, assisted living home or I think she said home, assisted living program or whatever, that there were all these people that were involved, and she had all these visitors and stuff, but then flash forward a year later at the end, it was just her and her mom. And I think that's so sad, but, you know, I think that is very true of life, and I think people become very selfish of their time. I've become very selfish of my time through the years, you know, and even thought to myself, well, I've visited quite a bit, or I've done that, you know, and I think the takeaway for me on that is asking myself every single day, how can I suit up and show up today? Like, who do I need to be there for today? What can I, you know, like I always used to say in the end of my vlogs, you know, most importantly, reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. But maybe not just reaching out to somebody, but maybe how can I be of service to another today? How can I be How can I suit up and show up for somebody else outside of myself today? You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that I need to start asking myself on a daily basis to get out of myself. I thought that that was an interesting comment, though, because, Amber, I know so many people that have gone through this same similar thing. You know, it's like with my friend whose mom, like, passed a year and a half before my mom did. Like, I can remember, like, going to her grandma's house the day that it happened, and there were, like, literally, like, 30 people in the backyard for her and her brother. You know, and then over the period of the next week or two, and then the funeral was packed, and, you know, and then over the next week or two, it was like, there was really nobody around, you know, and it was just like her closest friends and family that were around, and, I don't know, I think it's tough, you know. I think the other thing that's hard too that I noticed was, like, with my mom, who was, like, my mom was not a super social person. She just wasn't. I mean, she was social, but my mom wasn't super social. Like, she had through the years been, you know, part of some organizations and things like that, but not like my aunt. I mean, my aunt was involved in everything in Indianapolis that you could be involved in. And, she was super, super involved, and, like, in Indianapolis, like, if I meet somebody that's a little bit older, and I'll be like, oh, like, you know, they'll say that they're used to live somewhere or were part of something, I'll say, like, oh, did you know so-and-so, my aunt, and they'll be like, you know, did you know Kathy? And they're like, oh, absolutely, oh my God, is that your aunt? We loved your aunt so much, and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people know my mom, but by association, sometimes with my aunt, which is interesting. Now, if they went to high school, when my mom and my aunt went to high school at that time, a lot of people know my mom from high school. But what's interesting is that my mom's funeral, her viewing was 4 hours, okay? And the line never stopped for 4 hours. Like, it was constant. Like, one person after another, after another, after another. My aunt's viewing, I think her viewing and her funeral were the same day. I'm almost positive they were, but I could be wrong. It was busy, but it wasn't, I would say it was like half the amount of people that were at my mom's. And I don't think that it has anything to do with, like, who knew more people, because I can tell you, my aunt knew 3 times, 5 times as many people as my mom did, probably on a social level, right? I think it had a lot to do with the fact that my mom passed when she was 64, and my aunt passed, you know, 10 years later or something, 8 years later. And I think the older you get, like my uncle's funeral, you know, he passed when he was like 81. And yeah, there were a good amount of people there, but a lot of the people that were there for Caroline. They were there for her husband. They were there for me, you know, so it wasn't so much just about my uncle. And I think as you get older, as people get older, I think there's less and less people there, you know, because a lot of the people have passed already. I mean, hell, like half the people that my dad, I was talking to, Jason and I were talking last night, and he was asking me about somebody, and I was like, yeah, my dad knows him, and whatever. And it's like, the people that my dad, when I was growing up, like the doctors and stuff that my dad worked with and was friends with, and the neighbors and stuff like that, so many people have passed. You know, it's crazy to me. Like, my cousin Caroline will call me up and she'll say, did you hear about so-and-so? And I'll say, no, what? And in my head, I see this person as like 55, and she'll say, well, they passed away. And I'm like, well, what did they pass from, Caroline? And she'll say, they don't really know. They just, you know, it was in their sleep. And she was, but Peter, she was 82. And I'm like, she was 82? Like, it's crazy, you know? What a sad subject to talk about, right? I also think, and And I don't necessarily know that I think that it's the person's place, but I wish I had known more. Like, I wish you know, like, I've grown a lot as a person as far as reaching out to people when I need something. Like today, I reach out a lot when I need something. If I just don't, you know, if I'm bored and I'm just sitting at home and I don't want to, you know, like, want to be by myself and Alex is out with girlfriends or something, I'll call somebody and be like, do you want to go do something or whatever? Or if I'm having a down day, like, you know, I'll call my sponsor or Tanya or somebody like that. Back then, I didn't do that as much, you know, whereas today, like, I would call one of my mom's friends or something and be like, oh, we're just not that close anymore, or they're gone now, but I would say, you know, call them up and be like, hey, do you want to go get lunch or something like that, you know? I think one of the things I had to know that I wish I had known at the time was that it's also appropriate for me to reach out to those people, you know? I think I waited and was like, nobody's reaching out, you know? And I think a lot of people probably are like, well, you know, and I'm just using myself as an example, you know, let's give Peter some time, let's let him be by himself, you know, he probably doesn't want to continue to have to, like, think about his mom every day and have to, you know, but, like, that transition period is really, really hard, you know, and that's what Amber said in her comment. She said, we don't teach people how to live grief or something like that, and I was like, God, I totally agree with this. Like, we don't teach people how to grieve, you know, and when we do, we're like, well, there's the 5 stages. I think there's 6 stages actually now. I think they introduced bargaining. But there's 5 stages of grief, and, you know, what stage are you going? And I think that's a way to make sense of it. It was interesting because when I went to Half Price Books to look for a book for Tanya that dropped the rock, I saw in there, like, next to the addiction stuff was, like, stuff on, like, death and dying, and all of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, all of her books were there. Like, her book, which is called Death and Dying, I think, was there, and isn't she the one that came up with the 5 stages of grief? I'm pretty sure she is. And not everybody, I think, goes through them the way that they're written or whatever either, you know? I think I don't know. I didn't have a lot of denial, and I didn't bargain. You know, bargaining is when you're like, okay, God, I'll do anything kind of deal, you know, or I didn't go through that a lot. But I do think it's interesting when you look at the stages of grief, maybe not so much with the passing of somebody, but, what is this? Coffee something. There's a new coffee shop over here. What is that? I don't see it, though. I think the stages of grief are interesting when you go through, like, you take them and then you apply them to, like, a relationship or, you know, a friendship or career or moving across country or moving from an apartment or a house or whatever. I think specifically in romantic relationships, I probably did go through those. I probably did go through a period of denial where I thought, this is going to pass, everything's going to work out, it's going to be better, it's going to be okay. I think I did go through a bargaining period where I was like, God, just please make this work. Just please let us get back together. You know, I'll do anything. I mean, I remember having those thoughts. I just don't remember how, you know, even when I was the one that broke up, which I don't know that I think that matters. I think we always, like, kind of want to hang on to that, like, who broke up with who. And I think it's just kind of such a petty part of the discussion, don't you? You know? I know there's a lot of you out there that are like, no. Well, my first long-term relationship I was in, I was blindsided when he said that he didn't want to be in a relationship with me anymore. And that he wasn't in love with me anymore. But when we talked about it after, I can remember I felt literally like every bit of air and oxygen from the room just left, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And he was like, what? And I was like, I need to get out of here, and I went over to my mom's house. But later when we talked about it, the direction that he was taking his life and the direction that I was taking my life were two completely different things. I've always been, oh, he had all kinds of balloons and flowers in there, probably for his mom. You know, I always wanted to like settle down and have a home and that kind of thing. And he was wanting to, like, he was a DJ. Okay, it stopped. But he was a DJ and he was going to circuit parties with his brother at the time. His brother was gay too and has since passed. And so he was wanting to go out all the time and go to like Palm Springs for the white party and all this kind of stuff, you know? And I didn't. That wasn't what I wanted whatsoever. And what's so interesting is, because we did go out a lot. We went out quite a bit. And then when my next relationship, we like went out for a while. We would go to Louisville, Kentucky to the Connection, but in Indianapolis, we hardly, like, at the beginning of us dating, we went out a little bit, but then after that, we stopped going out. And towards the end of our relationship, we like almost never went out. Not even to the Connection in Louisville. And because he was from Seymour, so we would go down and visit our friends or pick up our friends and we would all go down together. Or we would stay there for the weekend and go out to the Connection. But towards the end of our relationship, we didn't do that at all. And we rather became homebodies. And then with Alex, it's like, and I wasn't used to it at first because we went out a lot, but it was like, now we have kind of like that happy medium, you know, of being social and being a homebody. Which I also think is like, Alex is my age now that I was when I met him. So, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I remember after we talked, and I'm a big believer that if somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship, I don't want to force them to be there. You know, and I really learned that from him. Because he felt really bad about the whole situation. I mean, he felt bad about not wanting to be just nesting and at home and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I got it. I totally understood it. And what's so funny is now, well, but what's really funny about it is his boyfriend is from Venezuela. Isn't that kind of funny? And he has settled down. I mean, it's been a long time. And he has settled down. They're like very settled down because I like see pictures of them and stuff. And God, it's been so long. I mean, we broke up when we broke up probably over 20 years ago. So he was my first long-term boyfriend. We traveled with my dad and my stepmom and stuff, and my mom loved him, and my aunt and uncle. I remember he came to my mom's funeral, and he was really, really a mess. Both of my exes were at my mom's funeral. My mom loved them so much, you know. My mom was so fantastic about bringing the guys into my life that I loved, and she loved them too, you know, and so did my whole family, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, and everybody. And my mom would have loved Alex. I know she would have loved Alex's mom. Like, they would have been really good friends, like Nick. So pretty. Sometimes I just like drive along here and I'm like, I just cannot believe, like, I don't know why I think it's so pretty, but it's just like that. It's just, the earth is just so pretty, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing fantastic about it, but it's just, and I drive sometimes and I think to myself, it would be so fun to just like walk through there. But like, if I lived on that property, I wouldn't walk through there. Did you ever think that? Do you know what I mean? Oh, like if I lived there, it would be so pretty, but you know, I don't. Fox Hollow Farms is right down this street right here. I don't usually come out here during the day. So if I go down this street, I run into Fox Hollow Farms. I love this house up here. Here, I'll show you. I think I've shown it on here before. I don't know why. They literally have put it up in the last year because I think it's so cute. Because when I've been driving out here, I've seen them build it. Isn't that house so cute? I don't know why I think it is, but I love that house. It doesn't even look like anybody's in there. But... that house is like super modern back there. I've never really even seen that. That's the first time I've ever seen that house right back there. I really like these houses that look like they have like the barnyard garage doors and they have kind of like a different kind of like wood siding on them. But then they're dark. They're like dark gray or dark green. I really like that. And I didn't like that when I was growing up. Actually, one of our family friends, the house they lived in was like a dark greenish gray. And I don't know why, but I hated that house. It like always like freaked me out for some reason. There's like a big sign in the yard over there for Celebrate Recovery. I don't know much about Celebrate Recovery. I've had some friends of mine through the years that have like gone from a 12-step program to Celebrate Recovery. I think Celebrate Recovery is a 12-step program, but it's a Christian-based 12-step program. That's really all I understand about it. I shouldn't speak on it. I don't know anything more about it than that. But it's kind of interesting to see a sign like right in the corner of the street about it, you know? It feels like a Saturday. Feels like a still Saturday. So yeah, this guy today that came out, he was really nice. And I didn't get the feeling that he really, like I was like, you know, I want some like bushes and some shrubs out here, and Alex and I were both like kind of explaining to him what we wanted. He didn't ask what kind of mulch we wanted, which was interesting. Alex said something about that afterwards, because he was like, I forgot to even say that we wanted like the darker mulch. And he goes, do you think it's weird that he didn't ask? I said, I didn't even think about that at the time. He was just by himself in this truck. And then when I was talking to him about the bushes and the shrubs, he was like he didn't ask, like, what kind of bushes or shrubs. And I said, do you know much about bushes or shrubs? Oh, yeah, sure. And I said, well, what would you suggest? And he was like, well, I'm going to have to get online and look. And I said, so you don't have any idea? And that was interesting to me, too, because, like, as a landscaper, and I could be wrong, you know, you'd think that he'd just be like, well, I think this or I think that, you know? And, you know, these run, you know, $50 at Costco or, you know, whatever. But it was like... So I said to him, like, well, how much would it be just to, like, come in and clean it out and just put mulch down? Which is interesting because we had, 2 years ago, I think it was, we had the landscapers that do, like, the lawn maintenance and the tree pruning and stuff in the neighborhood, and they, like, keep the neighborhood nice as part of our maintenance fee. They did it for us, front and back, and it was $150, and they were done in 2 hours. I mean, it's not a lot of area. And it looked beautiful for like a long time. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to come out on several different days and spray it and clean. And I'm like, I said, well, I want it all dug up, so there's not anything there to be like really spraying and stuff, you know? And he goes, okay, but I'm like, and I said, but if you have to come out over a couple days and spray it, that's whatever, like whatever you tell me, you know, it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. So, you know, I trust what you're saying. Which maybe that was the wrong thing to say. And then I was like, well, what kind of bushes would you suggest? And he was like, I don't know. Like, I would have to get online and look. What were you thinking? And I didn't say boxwoods. Or did I? I don't think I did. I said, well, I don't know. I said I just went like 2 or 3 things on either side and maybe 3 in the back. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you're starting to look at like $1,000, $1,200. And I'm like, okay. When I was just at Costco and they have big bushes and shrubs. And you know, maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll just be like, hey, can I just like buy these bushes and shrubs and you put them in? Because I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Hell, I could probably just figure it out on my own. I'm about there right now, to be honest with you, just to do it on my own. Someone not too long ago asked me how my back is doing, because I haven't mentioned it. You know, it's interesting because I went to that first doctor who I did not like, and he told me like I was gonna have to go through all this physical therapy and blah, 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 whatever, you know, and then I went to the second doctor who's a friend of ours, and he like is a spine specialist. And he was like, he looked at it, you know, in the x-rays, and he was like, well, it's right here and here. And he's like, I think this shot will work and it'll help. And he's like, but we won't know till like 2 weeks after, if you remember what I said. I can't remember. I honestly, I don't remember exactly how I said it, but, or how he said it. But he was like, if we do the shot, he was like, I feel like it'll fix it. And if we don't, and I said, well, if we don't, then what? He goes, then we're going to have to go the route of surgery, right? Which I didn't want to do. And so I got the shot. The shot was $1,200. Insurance didn't cover it. I had to pay for it. It was expensive. And I was like really hesitant to do it, but I really trust him. And Alex has had great results with him. So I got the shot. It did not hurt hardly at all. I didn't even, like, by the time it was done, I didn't even know it had started, kind of thing. And, you know, that was almost what, like almost a year ago, and I haven't had really, like, my back will hurt from time to time, but it's not like that kind of pain. It's just kind of like my back is sore, which I really just think is a lot of like me being heavier and stuff, and not being super active. But that has taken away. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, I have friends of mine that are like, now, did you have to go to physical therapy? And I'm like, no, I had this shot. And it just completely took it away. In fact, we saw him not too long ago, and he was like, how are you doing? And I was like, great. Like, I can't believe, like, he was like, I told you. He was like, I really believed it was going to work. He was like, now, if it ever, you know, flares up or whatever, call me, and, you know, we'll figure something out again. I think I'm thinking of that because when I was standing outside talking to them, my back, like, started to hurt. It was like my lower back started to hurt a little bit. This house over here is like this ginormous, like, barn. It's, like, gorgeous. I wouldn't want to live in a house like that, though, with that much land and stuff. So my back is doing good, and I'm really glad that I didn't have to go to physical therapy. I would have, you know, but I didn't really want to do that if I didn't have to. Well, they have horses. But I've had a lot of friends of mine that went to physical therapy and they actually really enjoyed it. They really liked the process, you know. You guys, the other night, when I got done with my vlog, I tried so hard to listen to some of that audiobook. I was telling Mel about this last night. I was like, girl, I'm going to have to DNF this book. Like, I cannot get through this. I just don't care. I just don't care about this book. And, like, I'm going to try a little bit tonight, and then I'm done. If I can't get into any more of it tonight, we're calling it done. And then I'm just going to have to delete it from my library and everything because I just can't get into it, and it's just like driving me crazy. And now I feel like I've wasted 3 weeks trying to get into this book where I could have read all these other books. And I told her, I said, I'm not in a reading slump because I really want to read these. I have these other books that I really want to read. I'm just like, I cannot get through this book, you know? Like, I'm so done with it. I'm so mad. I've had, like, this literary agent told me about this book called red, white, and royal blue or something. Do you guys know about this? It's supposedly like a gay story. It's supposed to be fantastic. And then somebody else said something about it. I was watching some booktube video about like what a great book it was. It came out like a year and a half ago, I think. And then I was reading some article, or I was looking at, maybe it was the New York Times bestseller list. Like, I think it's considered a YA book, even though the characters, I think, are like college age. And it was like third on the list or something. And I was like, I've got to read this book. Like, when I start hearing of a book 2 or 3 times, that's when I need to read the book. That's how it happened with The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Like, I started hearing about this book over and over and over, and I was like, okay, I've got to read this book, you know? Bum, 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 bum. I know a lot of people that are having barbecues tomorrow. I miss a good barbecue. It's hard for me to really eat anything at a barbecue though, because I mean, I can eat the salads and stuff, but even like if I bring like a veggie burger or whatever, or like veggie hot dogs, they're cooked on the same grill as the meat. So I just usually don't. The last time that we had a barbecue, well, I don't know if this is a Venezuelan thing or if this is a South American thing, because I do know that in Miami, or if this is just a Latino thing, I do know in Miami, a lot of the restaurants you go to do this. and Alex's brother, Carlos, and his friends, they do this like once or twice a summer. Which is where they get all kinds of meat, all different kinds of meat, and then they just grill it. And so basically, you just have this huge plate of meat, and then you dip it in this stuff called huasacaca, which that is Venezuelan, I'm pretty sure. It's like guacamole, but like spicier, kind of, and more watered down. So it's not like pieces of avocado in there. It's more creamy, like a ranch-ish kind of dressing. Is it spicy? I can't remember. Anyway, we just had it at Doji's the last time that we were in Miami. So the last 2 times ago. But like a lot of the restaurants in Miami, like along Ocean Drive when you're walking, it's called something. I can't remember what it's called, but you can order it, and it's expensive. It's like 100 and something a plate. But then they put this huge plate of meat out there, and you can just like pick it, and people pick it and eat it with their fingers. People just like pick it and eat it with a fork. You know, and you just pick at this plate of meat, which seems so bizarre to me, but like it's something that they love to do. And Alex, my battery died. I didn't even know I was at the end. Isn't that so crazy? It just stopped. It was like beep, 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 beep. Which I know that sound very well by now, trust me, when the battery is dead. And I was like, why did it stop so soon? And then I remembered I did my review video yesterday from the driveway because I deleted my review video. Look at that truck, is nice, that Ford truck. What is that? What kind of truck is that? Pickup truck. And so I just did it on the same battery, and I was like, okay, tomorrow, Peter, your battery is gonna be shorter. Like, you're not gonna have as much time on it. An FX4, that's a nice truck. F150. What is that? These people are probably like, why is this person looking at my truck? An F150 FX4, and it's like red, and it has like black stripe down the side. It's really nice. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so anyway, they used to do that barbecue thing. I think it was last summer that Carlos, they had a big barbecue. Was it last summer? I feel like it was when Alex's godmother was visiting from Texas. Oh, no. It's Carlos's godmother was visiting from Texas. They did a barbecue thing. But I don't feel like maybe we barbecued then. I don't remember. But anyway, the last time we barbecued, I remember Alex's mom, or Liliana, made yucca, which is like a potato, kind of. It's like a root plant. Literally, it has like strings on it, sometimes like a root plant. And I ate like, they had cooked it, and I ate this yucca, which basically looks like a potato, like a, you know, a skinned potato that you just like cut up, you know? And I ate this yucca dipped in the wasikaka sauce, and it was so good. It was so delicious. Alex's grandma makes the most incredible chicken salad in the world. It's like this special recipe that she has, and she always makes that for barbecues too. And I can't have that, obviously, because it has chicken in it. That's one of the only things. Now, Alex's mom has been so gracious the last, I would say last year, where she always makes me something vegetarian. Like if she makes chili, she'll make like 2 different kinds of chili, you know? Because she knows I like her chili because she puts it on rice, which at first I thought was very bizarre, but now I love that she puts her chili on rice. It's really good. Actually, the last time, when was it that this is gonna sound so weird, but there was one day that she had us over there for chili. It was like in the fall. And she was like, I didn't have enough time to make 2 separate chilies, or I'm sorry. But there's like rice and stuff. She always just makes a bunch of rice in the rice cooker. And I was like, don't even worry about it. That's fine, right? And so I got a bowl. This is so weird. And I put the white rice in it. And then I put butter on it. And then like the cheese, you know, that you put like, that she get, like the mozzarella cheese, I put on top of it. And then I crushed crackers over it and I mixed it all together. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. I was like, this is my new thing. Maybe I could make that tonight for dinner. I don't even know why I'm thinking of that, but sometimes it's hard because, like, you know, everything that they eat, like everything that Alex's mom makes is based in like chicken or beef. Like there's always like a meat aspect to it. So, which is interesting because Alex's cousin is vegan, and she is like, she's really, really into the culture of being Venezuelan and being Latino, and does all this dancing and stuff for it. This is his other cousin, not the cousin that lives in Las Vegas, but his cousin that lives in San Francisco. And she's a vegan because when she comes, she always makes all of these like, I think she was actually in my very first vlog I ever made. It's his cousin Nina. She's super cool. She's really, really cool. She makes all of these Venezuelan dishes, but she makes them vegan. So she's like hardcore vegan. I would think that there's a lot of people, you know, that I wouldn't think that that's just like, that would be interesting to look and see, like what country has the highest population of vegetarians. That would be interesting to see, like, you know, if it is like kind of like a cultural thing with, you know, certain places. I almost kind of wonder if like places like, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but like countries like Denmark and Finland, Sweden, if they're more like pescatarians, because isn't that like a really big fishing area up there? Do you know what one of the most interesting things about being a vegetarian is? That the people that I meet that are the hardest core vegetarians, and I don't mean like they preach about it. Like I honestly don't meet I don't meet very many vegetarians that are preachy. In fact, it's usually like when we're out to dinner with somebody or just, you know, like ordering something at a restaurant, the waitress, it's like you would never know. Like there's no judgment passed there whatsoever about like somebody ordering meat or whatever, and then they'll just be like, oh, I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, oh, I'm a vegetarian too. And so it's really interesting when you find out who is. It's almost kind of like it's not who you would expect at all. I was just talking to my friend yesterday that's been a vegetarian since she was like 10, and she's my age. She was so helpful to me because she was the one that talked to me about cross-contamination, and she's like, listen, she was like, as a vegetarian, you do your best. You're gonna find out as you go. You know, because there was a period when I would eat something and I would just get like flooded with comments, and people would be like, you're not a real vegetarian because you ate this and you ate that. And I remember I called her and I said, I don't know what to do about this, you know? It was at a time when there was like somebody, I don't know, anyway. So I called her and I said, I don't know what to do about this. And she said, well, first of all, who are you being a vegetarian for? Are you being a vegetarian for yourself, or are you being a vegetarian for, you know, people online? And I'm like, well, I'm being a vegetarian for myself. And she was like, then it doesn't matter. And she's like, and no vegetarian starts off being a vegetarian and has everything figured out right out of the gate. She is like, period, I don't care who you are. We're talking about a 35+ year vegetarian at this point, right? And she's like, Peter, there are things that I have learned just in the last couple of years that I didn't know, you know? She's like, you do your best. And she was like, and when you go out to eat, you just have to realize that food is going to be cross-contaminated. She's like, you can even have a salad that's cross-contaminated. She's like, you know, they may like do something and then like there may be a bacon bit that flies into it by accident or whatever. She's like, you just never know. She was like, you know, you just go into it knowing that that's a possibility, and you do your best. She's like, unless you want to be a vegetarian that only ever eats at home and cooks your own meals. What is that, my Lord? She was like, you know, there's going to be some aspect of that. And she was like, you know, just remember that you're doing it for you, and you're doing it because it makes you happy, and, you know, and whatever. I will say this too, and I'm including myself in this group. And she's not one of these people. She's pretty healthy, but because she cooks a lot of her own meals. She does a lot of like really interesting. She loves to try all different kinds of world foods. And what was she wanting to do the other day? She was telling me she went to. Oh, she was wanting to make something for her boyfriend. I can't remember, but it was like this intense meal that she was like putting together. But anyway. What was I gonna say? Oh, I meet a lot of vegetarians that are really, like myself, I wouldn't say the healthiest people in the world. Like, we're vegetarians, but we eat a lot of pasta. Or we're vegetarians, but we eat a lot of bread and a lot of, like, chips and crap that we shouldn't eat, you know? I think there's this misconception that just because somebody's a vegetarian, they're, like, super healthy and they're running 10 miles a day. I wish I was that vegetarian, and I guess I could be that vegetarian. It's my decision that I'm not. But, and I do know those vegans and that tends to almost be a little bit more like with vegans that I know or that I've met, that they're super healthy like across the board. But a lot of vegetarians that I know or that I've met are not like the super healthiest people in the world. And it's a misconception a little bit. When I was a vegetarian before Alex, and I was working out every single day, the majority of the time I was going to Whole Foods, and I was like getting my like dinner from Whole Foods and like whatever I would eat for the day. Like, I would just buy my daily stuff that day. And I was spending like $30 to $40 a day at Whole Foods because their deli section is incredible. If you're a vegetarian, the deli section at Whole Foods is absolutely incredible. I mean, they have vegan, like, you go through their like their salad bar, like, which is not like a salad bar. Well, it is a salad bar, but they have actually like food and stuff. They have vegan and vegetarian soups, and they have cornbread, and they have lasagna and mac and cheese. Oh my God, Whole Foods has the best vegan mac and cheese in the entire world, and all this kind of stuff, right? But it's so expensive to eat that way. And I was eating really healthy. Like, I was getting, I mean, and some of this stuff isn't gonna sound super healthy, but I was getting like an egg salad sandwich for, you know, lunch. And then I was like, for dinner, I was having like orzo salad and like maybe like a cheddar apple cake or something that looked like a crab cake. And that's all I would have with like water or something, you know? And I was eating really, really healthy. I know that stuff doesn't sound super healthy, but I mean, it was made organically and fresh, and so I was eating healthier than if I was eating, you know, an Impossible Burger from Burger King or something like that, or Taco Bell, right? But it was expensive. It was like super, super expensive. When I did the best I've ever felt in my life, this little girl is... she's like this. And when I honked, she like raised her hands in the air and turned around to her dad. She was like, do you remember doing that as a kid? You just wanted somebody to honk so bad. Anyway, honk if you're happy. Anyway, the best I've ever felt in my entire life, honest to God, I slept the best, I was the happiest, my mental health just felt so in tune, I physically felt the best, I lost 20 pounds in a month, it just was unbelievable, is I did a raw foods diet, and I had seen it, I'd heard about it from a friend of mine, who she eats all raw foods, she still does, she's super healthy, and so I had watched some of these videos on YouTube. I don't want to say from who because they might be highly problematic and then people will be like, why did you watch these people? But anyway, raw foods is when you don't cook your food, okay? So you eat a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables and whatever. And so every day, I did kind of like, I wouldn't say a cheated version of it, but I did kind of like, so what I did is I would eat, like you could eat as much of it as you wanted. So I was literally going through like a bunch of bananas a day, you know, like a huge bunch. Apples, fruit, I was eating so much of this, like fruits. If I was hungry, I would just eat a piece of fruit. But you couldn't cook it or anything like that, it was just raw. And then I would make a big salad for dinner, like a huge salad in these huge salad bowls that we have. I got these big blue salad bowls that are like literally like this deep, this big. And I would just put a bag of lettuce in there, cut up lettuce that I would get from the grocery store. And then I would put like nuts in there because I could have raw nuts. And then I would put like berries, like blueberries or cranberries or whatever in there, or, you know, I don't know, whatever kind of berry, raspberries or whatever. And then a bunch of other stuff. You couldn't have croutons or anything, but I wanted something crunchy. That's why I had the nuts in there. So, and then I would take, there was this yogurt salad dressing, ranch salad dressing. And it was like 0 calories, 0 this, 0 that. But you weren't really supposed to have anything that you was cooked. So I would take just a teaspoon of it, just so there was a little bit of taste of the salad, and I would put it on the top, and I would just mix and 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 mix. And sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, all of that. I mean, you guys, I can, to this day, Alex, if you said to him, like, what's the healthiest that Peter ever was, he'd say, when he was doing the raw foods diet. And I remember that year for Thanksgiving, I had gone into Thanksgiving and I was like, I'm just gonna eat. Like, I'm gonna eat whatever I wanna eat. And Alex's aunt, she had made this huge plate of, like, all raw vegetables and stuff. She was so sweet about it. Yeah, I thought about going back and doing that. I thought about juicing. I thought about doing all of that. I mean, all of it. If I did a combination of juicing, eating healthier, you know, doing some raw foods, I wouldn't have to do all of it all the time. I'd just do a combination of it. Oh my God, I would be so healthy if I just was eating, you know, fruits and vegetables and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And here we are on this conversation again. Anyway, well, I'm gonna go to the flower market now, okay? That's the story, Morning Glory. Somebody, my dad or my mom had morning glories crawling up the side of their house when they were younger. They planted and it grew up the side of their house. I can't remember which one. But anyway, I love this Wolfie's restaurant right here. We always go here after, well, we haven't in a while, but we used to go there after meetings sometimes and eat dinner because they're open late. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now and, yeah, I'm gonna get off here now. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I hope you're having a magically amazing, fantastically, magically amazing Saturday. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! And per the request of Troy, and anybody else that needs to hear it, I just want to say, one more, I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!